So what you gonna do, brother? We about to run wild with a style like no other. So somebody call Brodus Clay mother and tell her Richard runs on the men like Ed Lover and Doc Dre. What Scott say, what they hang on every word like it's something that the Rock say. No JR, but they talking wrestling. We bring the noise with the boys, so we Dalton Castling. So masculine, oozing machismo, mutton chop shop, Gran Turismo. No free throws, snarl hoops and heels. It's D-Roz retirement, give you the super feels. Straight shoot, it's real. Drop a pipe bomb, get rid of the bull like the Rock's right arm. So stay calm, tranquilo. I'll go Naito and give him Destino. And we know that you chumps ain't ready for the heartbreak runs and the Cuban Genetti. They drop it heavy, tag team it like Teddy. Long go strong with the heat like Eddie. So steady like when Taker walked the tightrope. Spaz like Taz with the mic in a tight choke. Dirtiest player in the game with the eye poke. 1988 Macho Man on a lot of coke. These other cats are a waste, they boring. Illegitimate sons like Jason Jordan. And Richard Runz never give him respect unless they going on air with a broken frickin' neck. So bounce like Papa Pump's pecs. Every time they get down, they bound to catch wreck. Y'all don't know nada, they the Okadas. You're the Washington Generals, they the Globetrotters. A whole lot of podcasts in the scene, but Richard Runz running wild is the cast of your dreams. So it seems these two is too sweet. Bullet Club pulling up with schemes to delete. So retreat, we steal, we cheat, but I never lie, I swear on these beats. And these two got some styles for you, but what you gonna do when they run wild on you?
Oh, hell yeah. It's the Big Dog Red Tires. And you're listening to the Running Wild podcast. Because if you're trying to run wild, this is the place to do it.
Do you want to let everyone know that you get it? Do you not want to be a Melvin? Well, then listen to the Running Wild podcast. And if you don't, you know what you are.
I'm the last real man, Silas Young. And if you're any kind of man, you'll be listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Hi guys, this is Mandy Leon, and you're listening to the Running Wild podcast.
This is Sam Adonis, El Juro de las Chicas de CMLL, and you are listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
Just before we get started, I want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with LastWinterProWrestling.com, PWPonderings.com, and ROHWorld.com. We're also featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. All right, so we had a huge weekend, a really enjoyable weekend of NXT TakeOver, Royal Rumble. We'll be talking some random Ring of Honor shows from about 10 years ago that I apparently attended and don't remember at all, and everything in between. We have a new GM on 205 Live. I'm going to start the episode with that. I got to throw it to my man Runz over here. He called us last week. He said that Rockstar Spud would be the GM of 205 Live. How did you know? How did you divine this?
Did I say that?
I believe you did. Maybe, was it either you texted me or you told me before it happened that it was happening.
Yeah, I feel like I was on the hurricane. Maybe I had said Rockstar Spud previously, but I'm not sure. He makes sense, and he's just great. He's a great character. His facials are amazing, just the things he does. So, that was a good choice. I was surprised, I guess. I wasn't really thinking about it, and then I saw it later, and I saw Drake Maverick, and I was like, who the hell is Drake Maverick? Like, they just put some random dude in charge of 205 Live, and then I watched it, and I saw that it was Spud. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the tournament, which I definitely predicted that was coming. So, yeah, it should be a good time until Mania.
I'm really excited. The tournament, I love tournaments, obviously. The only thing that I'm a little disappointed in was that goddamn Grand Metalik apparently only existed in the tournament for 14 minutes because he was announced, came out, and lost. When I heard Cedric's music, I was like, "Oh, jeez, this is terrible." And Statwife, who's actually been watching a lot of wrestling this week with me, and I got to give it out to Statwife. She's never going to listen to the show, but she stayed awake for the entire Royal Rumble, all of it. Like, her hype level actually helped me survive the Royal Rumble as well. But she goes, hold on, why do you think that Grand Metalik gonna lose? And I'm like, well, I've been watching wrestling for 9,000 years, and Cedric had the number one contendership, and then couldn't wrestle for the title, so it would be kind of fucked up and weird if he just suddenly lost in the first round, and then promptly actually left the room. And then when I came out, I was like, who won? Grand Metalik? And I was like, come on, let's be serious.
And I mean, you know, if this was the round of 32, then he probably does win. But because this is the round of 16 and he hasn't done anything, considering next week we're going to get Itami against Roddy, I would say that those are two of the favorites to win the whole thing, and they're facing each other in the first round. So it's going to be interesting to see the rest of the pairings and, you know, what else they do with this.
Of course, yeah, you know, another masked guy that I like on 205 Live, Lince Dorado, is going to be going up against someone, I can't remember who, but I immediately know that he can't win either. So that means
I mean, like, Lince Dorado could be going up against me and you, and he wouldn't be favored to win. So,
excuse me, sir, I will not allow for any kind of ridiculousness in those comments, as you know, Lince Dorado and I shared a locker room once, so I gotta say, I kind of.
I think that about says it all.
It's unfortunate that happened. Oh, I'm so upset that I walked into that one. All right, but no, I'm really excited. You know, it's just, I would love if 205 Live just was so good because of this reboot that it ends up being the only hour of WWE that I watch a week. Because it was really good.
This is something that I've been thinking about this week. Like, if 205 Live meant something, right, and the Cruiserweight title meant something, like, it wouldn't be a bad thing for guys like Ricochet and Gargano and Roddy, Rey Mysterio. Like, it wouldn't be a negative thing if they got called up, they won the Cruiserweight title, they were on 205 Live, they had promo and match time and all this stuff, you know. But if it doesn't mean anything, then it's a waste. But I'm curious if those guys could make it mean something.
Yeah, I mean, that'll actually be a good segue here. I'd love to see Ricochet there. And listen, I didn't think this was possible, but I really I watched Lucha Underground for the first time just recently, as I've been talking about on the show. And I finished season 2. And hot damn did I suddenly love Rey Mysterio. Like, just loved him in a way that I don't think I really did since maybe WCW, and even then, I wasn't super. I thought he was really good, and I liked him, you know, but I wasn't super into him. And Lucha Underground, I loved it. So when Ray comes out at the Rumble, that's the first thing I thought. I mean, I was like, this guy, hopefully he's on 205 Live now. I was super excited. Right now they're saying that it doesn't seem like it was like a one-time deal. It's not going to be long-term. So
right, because they want him to wrestle full-time, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I feel like there are some guys that
because he's Rey Mysterio, like he's a superstar.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't give Ray a Brock Lesnar treatment on 205 Live.
Right.
You know,
let him like, he could be used how he's used on Lucha Underground. He's mentoring a couple of the guys. He's wrestling. They're teaming up. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to be around all the time. Every month he could be there once, and other times it could be backstage stuff. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
No, I think they go full Brock Lesnar. You bring back Ricardo Rodriguez to be his like
Paul
Heyman, and he now becomes MMA Ray or MM Ray, yes, and he just destroys people. He just walks in really huge, bounces only a little bit. Man, the only thing that would have made his Rumble appearance better is if he came out. I used to love when he was like jumping up on SmackDown, like
The
that little,
Booyaka.
yeah, booyaka, booyaka. That would have been absurd, but that was fantastic. Man, so I guess we'll start in order. I skipped a little bit because you mentioned Ray, but
No, I mean, we might as well talk about the most important thing first, and that's definitely Shinsuke Nakamura winning that Royal Rumble that Ray was in. So, I really enjoyed the Rumble. I thought it was really well done. I was, all along I've said Shinsuke should and was going to win, but Balor coming out too kind of was like, I wonder if they just go Balor and he challenges AJ. That also would have been fine. So either of those options was great. I enjoyed the final six, like, Ray, Cena and Orton against Reigns, Balor, and Nakamura. I thought that was cool. It kind of put those guys like on Roman Reigns' level, you know what I mean? Because they were standing next to him representing like the future. So that was cool. I really enjoyed the Rumble.
yeah, I think this is one of the better men's Rumbles that I can remember in a very long time. I was very into it.
Almas was great.
I'm gonna. Oh man, so yeah, Almas. I love that they actually gave him like legitimate time in there. He is, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But he's a wonder. I'm so happy what they're doing with him in NXT is just unbelievable. This wasn't like he's. Did you get the feeling that him and Cole are headed for the main roster really soon, or was this just like a little tease and they're just okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was just a little tease. If anyone, Cole would be the guy because he didn't really have, like, Almas is the champion, so that's why he was there. But Cole was just there because he's Adam Cole, So that was kind of cool. But yeah, like those Adam Cole in the Rumble was kind of crazy. It was one of those like, oh shit, like nicely done. Didn't see that one coming. Came out of nowhere, so that was cool.
Absolutely excellent. I mean, listen, I'll tell you that Ray won me over so much that I was slightly upset, but not completely upset that Ray eliminated Adam Cole.
Right. I mean, it was what it was. Those guys weren't going to win the Rumble. They had a nice showing. Both of them got dumped out a little unceremoniously, but, it is what it is.
I did love Almas, and I thought it was just such smart. It was smart, fun wrestling to watch him go to throw Kofi out one side.
We'll talk about the pancake spot first.
All right. Here's the thing for me. So the pancake spot was basically that Kofi was being thrown out and one foot touched, but before the other one could, Xavier was there, his body was there, and Kofi didn't get eliminated because he had actually stepped on Xavier, who then held him while Big E went and got the pancakes and then put the plate of pancakes under him to make sure that he wasn't eliminated. And then he basically, stood on the pancakes for a few minutes, and then finally got back into the match.
Well, I mean, they skyrocketed him over
yeah,
the top rope. That was, that was the only cool part. The other stuff was just like, come on, like he's eliminated. His feet are on the ground. I don't care that his one foot is standing on pancakes.
I think it has to end unless they come up with something better. Like I didn't think. Because for me, the pancake part of it was so long,
right,
that it took away from the way he actually got back in.
And it was like you didn't really notice Jinder playing defense and not letting him in while he was standing on the pancakes, because you were looking at his feet or you were looking at the outside. So once like you rewatch it and you see that, it's a little like, okay, it doesn't feel as long, but it was cool spot, which. Go ahead. Led to Almas.
Yeah, so Almas, he grabs Kofi almost immediately, which is also another thing that seems to be a running theme with it. But grabbed him almost immediately and goes to toss him over the top rope, but sees New Day, so turns and throws him off the other side. And I thought that was great. a little extra bit that didn't need to be there, but made that so much better.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it was just a really good Rumble. It was well booked. They did a really great job with this one, and the right guy won. The crowd went crazy, and Nakamura's a made man.
Cena, by the way, was calling a lot of spots during that match. Did you notice? Yeah, like at one point, I feel like he's facing off with Reigns when it was, he's facing off with Reigns. Shinsuke and I'm blanking on the other person, were on the floor, Balor, and it looks like he's yelling at Reigns, but if you actually pay attention, what he says is like, "Now, Shinsuke, now!" and then like 3 seconds later, Shinsuke and Balor attack them. It was pretty.
In fairness to all of those guys, that's their first Rumble, so yeah, it makes sense that Cena is the guy who's out there
tight,
just
so
pacing
good.
everything.
It was so good. Like he was just sitting there, just staring. Now, Shinsuke, now! And I popped pretty big for that, man. I actually popped for him calling the spot. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it.
And while we're on that topic, briefly, the Braun Strowman Brock Lesnar exchange of similar nature, where Braun kneed the hell out of Brock, and Brock just jumped up, punched him in the stomach, and then rocked him on the side of his temple.
Yeah. And then it goes,
knocking Braun to his knees.
Slow down, motherfucker.
Yes. So, I mean, that was just Brock at his best, and don't viciously knee a man in the face.
I mean, I think that goes without saying. Yeah,
devastatingly punch you on the side of the head.
I mean, that almost reminds me of I think on Pritchard's show, or I've just heard that Andre was facing Ultimate Warrior. And he had told him to slow down, and then basically he just threw Warrior bounced up the ropes, and there was I think Andre was supposed to maybe clothesline over him, and Warrior was supposed to duck, and instead he just held his fist straight out, and Warrior just ran into his face first, and fucking knocked himself out. I just think, man, Brock is crazy, man. That's crazy.
I mean, that dude is a real person. Like he's a actual psycho. So, you don't really want to mess with him.
But the Rumble was great. So I'm gonna get into this. I almost feel bad that Statwife's not here. She did say earlier in the week that she wanted to be on the show this week because she was so angry when we discussed at length about the women's Rumble going on last and the men's Rumble going on in the middle. When the men's Rumble video was playing, I assumed they were just doing the by the numbers, and they weren't actually doing the match. And then I slowly realized
I was very confused by
holy
the video.
Crap! What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. My point with her was that if Rousey doesn't show up, I don't know if they put it on last.
No.
She very strongly believes that Stephanie is the one making all these calls for their women. And I kind of want to be like, I think Triple H is doing it in NXT, and that's how this kind of got started. But am I wrong there? I mean, I feel like NXT started
I think they've made you believe that Stephanie is the face of all this, because any time that there's an announcement, and I mentioned this last week when you were angry she was on commentary, but she's the face behind all the announcements, so I just that's just what it is.
I completely forgot about Statwife's being able to really be a good WWE fan and just buy everything they do. By the way, okay, so you want to move on to the women's match? I will briefly run down everything else.
I mean, I'm not sure anything else really needs to be discussed. We got Dolph at number 30, which it was like, okay, cool, but it didn't mean anything, and he got eliminated quickly, and it was just kind of pointless. So, they did a good job with both number 30s, as we'll get to, because people wanted anyone else, but they were hyped for those two. So that worked, and they were smart about that, I guess.
Jeez. I mean, it was just really excellent. I mean, all around. Every year I get excited about Royal Rumble, and every year I generally get disappointed. I feel like for the last... Hey, listen.
Yeah.
What was it, 2008,
Well, Reigns,
2009?
Orton.
What was the one that we were at? That Cena came out? 2008. Ever since, for me, and I feel like that sounds really negative, but that ruined Royal Rumble for me because I just didn't want him to win that night. And he wasn't supposed to goddamn be there or be cleared to wrestle. So I get excited about it because I think I remember being a kid and just the countdown and how much I love it. And this year brought me back to that. It was kind of crazy because the Women's Rumble, just all the surprises, which I knew there were going to be a lot of coming out, but it was pretty awesome. Even Statwife recognized a couple of them. I mean, I had a couple of gripes with some of the booking. I don't love having Michelle McCool presented as the person who gets the most eliminations. There's nothing to build off of. I mean, unless you're just giving her the record for now,
right,
so that somebody else breaks it the year after, which then is smart.
But right. I think that was just she's the Undertaker's wife, and so she gets some nice spotlight here.
All right.
I didn't love people chanting everyone's husband.
That was
just kind of like
so lame.
You don't chant Brie Bella at Daniel Bryan. So just don't do that. I think that was just Philly being a little bored because the match was a little slow. You mentioned like everyone rolling out of the ring and being on the outside, and I guess you want to be a little bit different and that sort of thing when there's two of them on the show. So it is what it is, but you could definitely tell they weren't as comfortable in there as the men were, and that's to be understood. This is the first go round and that sort of thing. So I enjoyed the match. The right person got the win in Asuka. Like you said, the surprises and all the legends coming back was a lot of fun to see some of them. And Lita, please never do the moonsault again because I was scared for your life.
My God.
So yeah, just Asuka getting the win, Rousey showing up at the end. That was good stuff.
I will say, so the going to the outside got me confused a couple times because I just didn't know who was left.
Right.
And one of my arguments against that, first of all, I think that's specifically a gimmick that should only be, or not a gimmick, but it's something that should only be done a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little bit overdone, and especially the amount. Like, why didn't Nia Jax just clear the ring and toss them over instead of like
every
everyone
time someone was on the floor, every time someone got a move, they were just on the outside.
And the thing is, my argument is, if you're watching it and you consistently see the person on the screen, granted they go to different cuts, but there's that visual of seeing the person in the ring for the entire time. Like you're sitting there 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes go by. I think that would have made Sasha's, at least visually, it look stronger.
Right, and I think that's how I felt about Balor. The same way that he's laying in the corners and doing that sort of thing. Sasha should have been doing the same. But, I mean, they did a great job with her in that match and being the Iron Woman. And, I actually saw she was the 10th longest time in the Rumble, just period. So that was cool. Like, the first one, a woman made the top 10 times. So that was a cool thing. That's a cool moment for her. And it was a good way to present her, going forward.
Have you heard... So I've always wondered this, and I kind of want to look into it a little bit more. So I was listening to Pritchard lately. They were doing Royal Rumble stuff, and they said that there's a thing... They have a thing called Titan Time, where essentially it wasn't 2 minutes between each guy. you know, if it was getting a little flat, they would send someone in. So now, when they say 53 minutes, or whatever it was for her, was she actually there for 53 minutes, or are we counting by, like, how many people came in and then when she went out?
I'm assuming she was there for 53 minutes.
They actually count that, okay.
30 people at, or 28 people at 2 minutes is 53 minutes, right? So,
but Pritchard really broke my heart a little bit when he said that. This idea that it's not always 2 minutes.
Time, you clearly realize that, but
no, I never ever in my life did. Ever.
You've noticed that they're not exactly, and I mean, this year on the entire Rumble, King just kept saying, "Wow, already? Wow, already? Wow, these people are coming really fast." Like, yeah, we get it, man. Just shut up.
What?
Okay,
Really?
They're sending people early.
How did I not see that? My God. It's the big spectacle. It's the countdown is legit 10 seconds, so I assume that the rest of it was.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they would, cheat the fans, because anyone who's watching it would, you know what I mean? If they're like, oh, he was in there for 75 minutes and you watch the Rumble and it's only an hour, then clearly they're lying, So it would be easy to prove that kind of stuff wrong.
But top to bottom, I agree.
Yeah, it was the right two people won the Rumbles, and those were the most important things on the show. So that left everyone happy. Rousey coming out at the end. Okay, so here's what happened. I'm watching the Rumble. It's almost over. I gotta use the bathroom. I go use the bathroom. I come back. I'm on some wrestling website, and I'm like, all right, let me just put on front page of ESPN, Ronda Rousey signs with WWE, and I'm like, oh, well, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't say she showed up at the Rumble, so okay. So then I'm watching it, and they're all in the ring, and I'm just kind of waiting, so it didn't ruin the surprise, because I still didn't know that she showed up at the end of the Rumble, but in the 2 minutes that I used the bathroom, it all came crashing down.
Jesus, that's ridiculous, bro.
It was so unfortunate, man.
Because, I had said for a while that I thought that Rousey was going to actually be at the show. Right. So, I thought she was going to be in the Rumble, I'm sorry. So I was wrong about that. Definitely a smarter move. I mean, you don't know how far she's trained. And
right.
I mean, the truth is that the Women's Rumble featured a lot more moves than I think you normally see in a Rumble. Because if this was an old guy... if this was a 1993 Rumble, Ronda Rousey could have been there.
Right, just everyone tossing everyone around.
Look, think about WrestleMania 2. How many of those wrestlers trained? I mean, those football players trained. They just, hey, you're big, just go and make believe you're hurting people. That's probably it. So, but I think it was smarter to keep her out of it. I don't appreciate the complete... I'm not saying anything. I'm just coming out, pointing at the sign awkwardly. You hard cam, make sure. Okay, all right. I'm in front of the hard cam. Point, and then
yeah, that was a little awkward, because it seemed like maybe she wasn't sure what was going on or what she was supposed to do. So even if that's exactly what she was supposed to do, it seemed a little strange. So yeah, that took away from it a slight little bit, but. We're going to get her and Charlotte right. I'm assuming we're getting her and Asuka at some point in the future. So, that was smart. Asuka slapped her hand away. Everything was well done. I'm not sure that those three even knew. So for Asuka to slap her hand away, that's just brilliant on her part.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Everything was... Look, she looked awkward, but... I still think it's a good thing, and I think without a doubt it's the reason why it was the main. I mean, the next night they were very excited on Raw to play, those graphics of all the places that were writing about Rousey signing.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they want. That's what they got, and it's going to be interesting to see how she's presented and how she's used, because. Maybe I'm crazy here, but I'm going to say that I think Asuka would beat Ronda Rousey in a real fight. So I don't know. That would be a cool think to see happen on WWE?
Oh, this is fantastic. So, right off the bat, immediately, Statwife hates Ronda Rousey. I didn't know this. So she was like, this is ridiculous. Who does she think she is? She's not even that good. It's crazy. And then I realized why. Because Ronda Rousey is in the Fast and the Furious movie. And
But she loves those movies.
yes, but she doesn't. She hates The Rock in those movies,
Mm.
and she doesn't like Ronda Rousey because she.
Okay, so she hates the people
like-
who are not
like-
on
like, don't
Vin Diesel's side.
Yes, like don't come
Gotcha.
in after like the 4th episode. Like,
Gotcha.
So anybody who comes
You're,
in,
you're just jumping on the bandwagon at this point.
I might call this episode "The Rock Saved Fast and Furious" franchise because the angriest you'll ever see here is if you say that. And by the way, I left out the most important thing about the Rumble. So that's why she hates Rousey. All right, that's just because I couldn't understand the hatred. I was like, how do you even know her that much? She's like, and everybody talked her up, and then what happened? She lost that match, and I was like, wow, you really hate Ronda Rousey. Then she told me Fast and Furious made sense. Now, the greatest thing, the greatest reaction I think I have seen a man, woman, or child, granted, other than myself, because I can't see myself, right? The greatest reaction to a wrestling moment that I've ever seen in my entire life was when Nikki Bella came to the ring during the Royal Rumble. Stat Wife's, I can't replicate the sound. It was like a cry cheer. Like it was, because like it was, she was just surprised. Like it was the greatest thing because she kept asking me before the show, like, she's going to be on. By the way, she just gave me the finger. This is great radio. I'm sorry. I'm live right now, guys. I'm getting the finger. But anyway, I mean, she kept asking beforehand, and I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I really didn't.
Right.
But I won't lie if there's a part of me that just didn't want to say, oh, yeah, it's definitely going to happen, so that she would expect it, and then it wouldn't happen.
Right.
So this was easily... I'm serious. Like, you want... WWE would just be so happy to know, like, have more fans that react this way. It really made the event more enjoyable. I won't lie.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, I'm not sure anything else on the show was really anything of note. Nothing really happened. No titles changed hands. The bar, right? The bar won.
Yeah.
The tag team titles back, which was cool. I'm enjoying Jason Jordan being hurt and not being able to wrestle because it's creating some cool stories.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Although I don't... They're faking him with a concussion, right? Not the knee?
Yeah, I think his knee is actually...
Yeah, I just don't like the concussion. It's like... It's weird, because remember when it happened to Shawn Michaels? He was a face. Like, we're literally... They're putting it in a position... Okay, I just gotta stop my thought to point out that every time I say Shawn Michaels, this person that I'm married to, I can't, there's a word that I want to use, but I can't remember it right now. Every time I say Shawn Michaels, she pretends she's snoring because she feels that he's the most boring man to ever be on WWE programming.
Okay.
Like, these are the things, just ladies and gentlemen that are listening, if you are unmarried, be sure to ask this question, like, what do you think of Shawn Michaels? Because it is really difficult to be married to somebody who does not like one of your heroes. I mean, I want to be Shawn Michaels. I want to work at the Performance Center, wear a cowboy hat, have long hair even though I'm kind of balding, and wear cowboy boots. Like, he's the man. He's basically was the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers of all time, and retired and became Chuck Norris from from Walker, Texas Ranger. And that dude is the best. And now he's back and helping guy and shaping the future. Sacrilege, sanctimonious. All right, anyway. Incredible. So let's talk about NXT Takeover.
Yeah, speaking of incredible, Gargano and Almas, just you have to watch it. It was amazing. I honestly couldn't tell you. Like when we were there for Zack Sabre winning the Evolve belt, that was awesome. But like sitting in my house by myself, I'm not sure I've ever reacted in the way that I did when Candice finally jumped the rail and attacked Zelina. Like I was hyped, and I like sat up, I pumped my fist, I was into it. I was so like, all right, it's about time, because the whole match, Zelina kept getting involved, and you expected it the second time, you expected it the third time. So then when she was finally coming over, you were like, yes, let's go. And so she finally jumped the rail, beat the hell out of her. That was a great fight. It added to the match. It didn't take anything away from it. And those guys, man, the chemistry that they have in there, proof. It was amazing. Gargano didn't lose a thing by losing. Almas, they both skyrocketed with the win.
Absolutely absurd. Okay, so I'm mentioning her a lot this weekend, but she was watching wrestling with me. God bless her soul. Then when Almas came out at the Rumble, because of this match, like Lauren was, oh man, terrible. All right, everybody kayfabe that. I didn't just say her real name. Stat Wife was really impressed. She was really rooting for Johnny, which is a good thing because I was wearing my Gargano shirt, so I would have been pretty upset if she hadn't. She was really into it, and I was on the edge of my seat, man. Like the near falls.
Yep.
Johnny Gargano is
the Gargano escape. Like I thought he was tapping out.
It was everything. I mean, I will say the match was so good that, look, for me, Mauro was a little heavy-handed with his commentary throughout the night. There were a couple times where it was kind of distracting because he was saying some kind of absurd things.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy listening to Mauro. There was like, just something that is completely irrelevant, but like there was one point when Almas and Gargano were both down, and Almas was like crawling towards him, and Gargano was just like kicking. He kicked him in the shoulder, and Almas fell a little bit. And then as he went to get up, he put his arm just like, exhaustedly, just draped it on Gargano's legs so he couldn't pick it up to kick him. And it was just something just very smart that clearly just happened on the fly, but it adds to the overall picture that I'm painting for myself. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look, both of these guys are dead. Look, he's doing everything he can to keep them down. It made so much sense, and it was just, man, it was a perfect match.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely the match of the year across any company that I've seen so far.
Yeah, in the 18 days that.
Listen, man.
Full month.
I don't even know.
It's something else will come along, but when we look back in December, we're going to look at this fondly.
And then that son of a bitch bastard, fucking Ciampa, had to come out and attack Gargano. I can't take it anymore, man. I can't take this anymore.
That is the beauty of it, my friend. When Gargano was at his absolute peak, everyone thanking him for putting on a classic, all this good stuff. Boom. Hit with a crutch, and everyone chanting asshole at Ciampa. It was perfect. It was, his wife was right there. Everything was
one image of her checking on him and Ciampa standing in the background, or in the foreground, I should say.
So good. And that's the storytelling that we love NXT. That's what puts us on the edge of our seats in these matches. Now, when they face that Takeover before Mania, I mean, we're going to be on the edge of our seats again. So, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I'm going to tell you right now that if Gargano does not beat Ciampa, I'm
He really should.
I'm going to lose my mind. Lose my mind.
You know how that works with someone coming back. But, Ciampa, I don't know if he can wrestle now because he was still limping pretty badly. But we'll see. So it'll be interesting. I can't wait for that. But, right before that, we had Aleister Black and Adam Cole, which was really awesome, too. Two guys who are definitely the absolute future of the company, in many ways. Two guys that are just flat awesome, and they proved it with this match.
And Adam Cole's face when, what was it? I think he had grabbed a kendo stick or something. He was in the corner. He had a couple of, he's on par with Gargano, I think, with his facials.
Right. And there was one, Gargano is in peril, but Adam Cole, when, they both had kendo sticks, and Aleister Black throws his kendo stick down, and the look of, you dumb idiot, the smile that was on Adam Cole's face was, it made you laugh, because you could just see what, was going through his mind, and he said it, so... this was an awesome brawl. When they set up the chairs, and Adam Cole got whatever Death Valley Driver FU'd, with his back onto the chairs, that sucks. Adam Cole is a beast for taking that spot. You won't see that happen often, and there's a reason. Adam Cole gets all the credit in the world just for that,
it's what the crazy thing is that it hurts, but it didn't even look that flashy. It was just crazy that it happened because the chairs don't move, but it's still that's a killer move. Right? How do you? I don't know. I watched it over trying to figure out how you take that without getting hurt.
You don't.
How is C17 and C18 not split apart right now?
It sucks, man. It sucks. And so, he's a beast for that. I thought the match finished perfectly. Mm-hmm. Just him coming at him with the chair. Boom. Aleister Black hits him with the kick. And that's the end of it. It was perfect. I'm assuming we're going to get Almas and Aleister Black at Takeover Mania, which should be quite amazing. NXT just, no matter what, no matter who, they deliver, they kill it. It's always the best.
Listen, man, we could cover in depth every week 205 Live, NXT, CMLL, and Ring of Honor if we just, that's just what we watched instead of 5 hours.
I'm not going to abandon Shinsuke Nakamura against AJ Styles because
true.
That's just ludicrous.
I am a little scared. I'm a little
scared of what?
How long?
It's WrestleMania is 7 hours.
No, not the event. I'm saying the build, the road to WrestleMania between them. Will they have enough to keep it interesting?
They might win the tag titles.
Whoa! But wait, how could two guys who are going to fight each other be tag champions? I've never seen.
I wouldn't mind John Cena and HBK. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I know. I was just saying. I wouldn't mind seeing that storyline again.
How many times?
It's been a while since we've seen that. Yes, we've seen two top guys paired up, whatever, but fighting over, these guys are friends. They do have a history. We know that. So,
man, I'm really looking forward to that. Just a great weekend of wrestling. I feel like we're missing something else on that card. Because all the matches
the
on
tag
NXT
match
were
was
good.
solid. Dream Hero could have been better, but it was what it was. Shayna and Ember Moon was okay. It was a good debut for Shayna. I believe that.
Yeah, they protected her. That was good. I like the way they protected her there. I thought that was smart. Also, really excellent. Did you catch? So obviously, Raw.
Nothing happened on Raw or SmackDown.
Literally nothing happened on SmackDown. I thought Raw there was a little bit more though.
Braun Strowman killed Kane. Yeah, great joy. Again, just what comes next for Braun? At some point he's got to stop destroying things.
Also, I just would like to point out Kane survived being in a burning house fire that killed his parents, I don't think that stage being pushed on him was that big of a deal.
Well, it wasn't. They said he got up and left the hospital.
So it's just, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is there. I'm not upset if this is the last we see of Kane for a while. It is what it is.
He's got to go be mayor. All right. So,
right. I hope he wins. I mean, we got some Elimination Chamber stuff. I didn't like Cena beating Balor, but hopefully he'll get some kind of decent spot on that card. But I don't know where it would be unless he's fighting The Miz, which I guess could be. That would make sense, right? Miz Balor at Mania.
Yeah. No, I think they're pushing towards that. That'll be really good.
Especially since he was all that time in the Rumble. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
All right. Did you get a chance to catch any CMLL this week? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Did you catch Ring of Honor this week?
Yep.
Man, I just gotta say, so War Machine.
Really loved the main event. It was excellent.
I thought it really is. SoCal Uncensored, really good match against Cody, Paige, and Marty, setting up the fact that SoCal Uncensored is going for the 6-man titles.
They win them, but not really, and then they lose them. Anyway,
I could see that, and then the really big thing I thought that came out of it was that we're coast to coast. Leon St. Giovanni and Shaheem Ali were. Basically, they got to a crossroads where they decided that their next match, if they didn't win, they were going to split up as a team. So then they ended up facing War Machine. And
what a shame that would have been.
Excuse me?
I said, what a shame that would have been.
No, I know. So, I was really into this. It ended up being that it's War Machine. Clearly, I just wish it had aired a week earlier.
The guys that were sitting in the crowd? I guess we should. Go ahead.
Well, so it worked out that, War Machine, as they were sitting in the crowd at NXT, were about to be on ROH TV for the last time.
Sweet.
And I feel like there's a part of me that WWE definitely knew that, and they very purposely had them at ringside. It just...
I don't think WWE cared, but go ahead.
So, basically, it was a little weird, and I'm fine with it. But Ali and LSG continually were kicking out, like at the very last second, after taking like all of War Machine's like varied finishers that they've been using, basically, and they just couldn't keep them down. And at the end, Hansen scaling the ropes, LSG holds him for a second, and Ali slips out of Rowe's grasp and rolls him up basically with a schoolboy, and they get the upset victory. They stay together. War Machine really put them over here, and I thought, listen, it was in Philly, so I know that they're from around there, but the match itself, if you haven't seen it, you get a chance, go out and see this. It was, when you're talking about like a crowd really getting behind baby faces, and the babyface is just getting beat on, but somehow finding that fire deep down to keep kicking out. It was a really nice moment. I just, even if you haven't been following their storyline, if you just watch that match, like the match tells that story very well. So I thought that was really good. You had a stare down between Dalton and Punishment Martinez after Martinez squashed this enhancement talent Dobbs. So they're building towards that title match, which is going to be on TV, which I'm not super... it's cool that it's going to be on TV, but at the same time, I also felt like the winner of the Survivor of the Fittest tournament should get a title shot at a bigger show. But, I think they're going to move Castle through a lot of defenses between now and definitely the 16th anniversary show. But if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I really enjoyed it. And Matt Taven calling Cody Rhodes on commentary, he's like, look at Draco Malfoy over here, was definitely one of my favorite things. Him saying that he's part of Slytherin. I mean, commentary was absolutely killing it this week. So if you watch it, be sure not to leave a commentary, the volume down, because you want to hear what they say. It's just absolutely crazy, man. It's crazy references.
Yeah, I heard those. They were. He was really good on commentary. It was great.
This, guys, he is. This is what makes Runz really one of the best podcasters in the business. It's the commentary like that really, I think, drives home.
You said everything that needs to be said. I really enjoyed Ring of Honor this week. It was excellent.
All right. Well, I don't think we have anything else. There was actually no crazy wrestling behind the scenes news really, other than Borash getting signed. What I mean is, like, there was no negative things, right? That have been happening. Borash got signed to WWE, so there. I don't really know.
Really, what I've heard, like, straight to NXT. This was all Triple H.
Really?
He's going to be working on that, so that's great for them, great for him. Well deserved. He was awesome backstage in TNA, and like, he did everything for them. So definitely hurts them, and it's a big gain for NXT or WWE.
Gabe Sapolsky and now Jerry Borash, who you've commented was very good backstage at TNA. This is crazy, isn't it?
I mean, like, two guys who we've enjoyed their work, getting added to obviously an already strong NXT creative process, I think can only help. So, definitely looking forward to their fingerprints being on the product and seeing what comes of it.
Yeah,
I believe they have tapings this week.
It's absolutely crazy. Wrestling is just fantastic, and as much as I complain about how long it is, really, if I could do it, I would take a year off and just watch wrestling all the time. Especially this year. There's just a lot of fun stuff going on. All right, so I think we covered everything this week. You got anything left? All right. So then make sure you guys give us a follow over on Twitter at Running Wild LWOS. So you can make sure you guys see some tweets while we're watching shows. We do live tweeting, and then as well you can see whenever the podcast comes up. But if you go over to iTunes, subscribe, rate and review, you will never miss an episode. Drop us a review, really appreciate it. See the numbers going up all over the place, and we just want to get some feedback from you guys. Follow us on SoundCloud as well, and anywhere else where you can get your podcasts. And send us an email if you have any trivia. We haven't gotten some trivia in a while. We'd love to do trivia. So send some along to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow my ROH coverage over at pwponderings.com and rohworld.com. If you haven't heard it yet, go over and listen to the Podcast of Honor, which is this episode was the year in review of 2017. So you can check that out over at pwponderings.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Rich_Laconi, LACONI, for random tweets about tons of different wrestling, and sometimes if you're lucky, you get a Spanish one where I'm talking about CMLL. So I'll be posting pics up soon of my new styrofoam heads that I can put my lucha masks on that I'm very excited about. And now that I think that my co-host is going to kill me, just want to remind you, you've been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.
For Rich and Runz, this is the host of Ring of Honor Wrestling, Ian Riccaboni, signing off. Be sure to join them next week for another episode of the Running Wild Podcast.